taking it for granted, and we can't allow that, neither can we tolerate that. It's strategic to us because it's part of personal development, really. And we say something to say, if you join the Income Dev Center, you will know everything about something.
Taking it for granted, taking it for granted, and
you will know something about everything. That's a strategic objective to us, and knowledge development is one of the ways we get that done. What do we do at knowledge development? We simply force you to listen to different technology concepts, technology trends, and all of that. Some of them may not be directly in line with your career path, but because it's also technology, because it's also some information, it is generally useful. It gives you exposure and it gives you a bit of understanding as regards some of the things going on in tech, and also as regards some of the things that we believe that you should know. The key point here is that you need to know something about everything. It's not by magic. It is you being strategic about it. And so one of the things we do at Bincom Dev Center, we've done it even when we were in one location, Yaba, and is that we do something called knowledge development session. The form of the knowledge development session before the pandemic was physical, meaning that everyone physically gathered at Lightspace in the location to do the session. We even did it in our remote locations as at then. We've changed strategically as an organization now. We are now one organism that has multiple locations. So we no longer see Yaba as our main location and so on. No, every location is the same. And so because of that, a few things has had to change. One of them being knowledge development now happens virtually. Before now and before today, which is a new policy, knowledge development happened by video. But we've realized that many of you do not go watch the video. And so we've decided moving forward that we will do actual sessions, live sessions on knowledge development. I'm going to be going through a few things today. There are going to be 2 sessions today. I'm not sure if Farouk is online, but the way knowledge development works is there are typically 2 sessions per day within the 1-hour slot. Typical knowledge development session is about 30 minutes each, meaning it's a 1-hour session. But it's important that we know that people are listening and people are actually learning. What that means is that should you not ask questions, we are forced to ask you questions. Of course, we prefer you ask questions because then the facilitator can focus on maybe something he didn't talk about properly and something he didn't touch on well enough. In some cases, because the facilitators for the knowledge development session is only just learning some of these concepts himself or herself. So in some cases, the facilitator may need to go back, do some more research, and then come back to reinform the team. In some cases, the facilitator may have gotten something wrong himself or herself, and hopefully somebody else on the session is able to correct and say, hey, why don't you look at it this way or this other way? The key point of knowledge development is the fact that everybody is learning something. So remember what I said. We want you to know everything about something, which is your subject of expertise within Bincom Dev Center, but you must know something about everything too, which is why we force you to attend these knowledge development sessions. Today, we have started the new policy. So the new policy for knowledge development is as follows. First of all, everybody within Bincom Dev Center runs KD, a minimum of once a month. For some of you that are interested in the Emigrate track of the Emigrate Premium that we are also offering our team members, please bear in mind that the knowledge development session is directly in line with what we call public artifact, right? So you should actually be struggling to do more than one a month. That's what we expect. But minimum that you must do within this organization is one a month. I know some people are owing us for December, you will do it. Some people are owing us for January, you will do it, right? But you have to do a minimum of one a month, right? For those of you that just joined us this month or last month, please bear in mind that starting now, you are required to get a KD topic and then submit your KD. In terms of the process for KD is as follows. First thing is you need to get topic approval from a member of management. The channel where we use for KD is the KD channel on Slack. Second thing is once you get approval for your topic, then you go do your slides. Then you send your slide based on the instruction that has been shared with you, and you get approval for your slides as well. Generally speaking, if your slides are not looking good, we will not approve. If your slide does not touch enough on the subject matter of your topic, we will not approve, right? Meaning you have to do the slide again. Next step is that you have to record your KD by yourself. There are many tools you can use to record. You can use Zoom link to your YouTube, which is what we are doing at the moment. You can create a free Zoom account. You get 40 minutes free. And within that time, you can actually record and stream to YouTube. Or you can use a tool called Loom. Loom used to be free, but now I think it's only 14-day trial or 5 minutes. So Loom is no longer viable, but there's a tool called Nimbus that also helps you to do recording. Please, any way you record, ensure that your video and your slide is showing. So please do not just record the slide and then the video doesn't show, or vice versa. Ensure that your video and your slide is on. Just to confirm, can everybody see my screen and can everybody see my face?
Yes, we can see your face on your screen.
All right, thank you for the feedback. And so this is the format, right? It's important not just for us and the audience that will watch your video subsequently, but it's also important for you because you are also building public artifact by doing this particular activity. Once you have a video that has been approved, right, then you will be scheduled to present in this forum from between 9 to 10, as I mentioned, 2 sessions per day, typically 1 technical session and 1 business-oriented session. So technical would be the developers, infrastructure, and so on. The business would be project management, digital marketing, partnership team, and several other teams that we have within the organization, pro services, and so on. So that's what the structure will be, and you will be scheduled to make a presentation to the entire house. During the presentation, we expect that the house will have questions for you. However, should they not have questions, please prepare questions that you will ask the house, right? It will help you to know if the people understood what it is that you said and so on. In addition, in submitting your KD, sorry, I skipped a step. In submitting your KD, you are required to actually submit question and answer. 5 questions, was it 10? Either 5 or 10, you can confirm from the document that must have been shared with everyone or will be shared with everyone. You need to create 10 objective OBJ questions. So that's option A, option B, option C, as regards your KD, such that anyone that watches your KD will be able to answer those questions. Please don't ask questions that you did not touch on in the KD, even if it is relevant to the subject matter, right? And so you are required to prepare 5 or 10 OBJ questions, which will be put in the LMS. I see someone's hand up, and I'm going to allow for question very shortly. In terms of the KD schedule, the schedule is we run KD between 9 to 10 a.m. or 9:45 or thereabout every weekday except for Mondays, right? So we are starting in February 2021. and we're starting to maintain that schedule. And as I mentioned, every team member it is now compulsory for every team member, especially intern, junior associate, and trainee. I mean, and when I say trainee, global tech or any other trainee within the organization, it is now compulsory, right? Before now, we were trying a way of making different teams attend KD on different days of the week, but we've tried that for a while and we have seen that it did not work. With this, Pro Services is able to note the people that do not attend KD, because technically speaking, it means you are not at work. Whether you are physically in a location office or you are working from home on that day and so on, it doesn't matter. We require you to attend KD. Please don't say your computer was bad. Don't say that your phone was bad, because what that means is also that you were not even at work. This doesn't cancel the regular check-in process and so on that we've put in place. This is just in addition to it. So that's what the KD format looks like. I was going to touch on a bit on time management, but I see my time is fast spent already. So I will just focus on our weekly calendar, which has been shared and which I expect everyone should have gone through, but I will walk everybody through that calendar as well at the moment. However, I know someone had a question, so let's take the question. I think, John, I saw your hand up. So I'll start with John, and then if anybody else has questions, please ask.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Please, I just want to know how this schedule is like. When are we? What time are we? Like, when we know is our turn to like present? Like, because I'm just joining. I don't know. Like, when would we know when our turn is?
All right. So typically, the KD microservice owner, which is currently Farouk, but whoever it is that is in charge of that microservice, will publish a schedule. And they would most likely tag you. The channel we use for those discussions is the KD channel. However, you cannot be scheduled to present until you have submitted all the requirements, with the exception of this week, where we have forced some people to present this week, while those of you that have not done your January KD have been given grace to ensure you fulfill all requirements by next week, or else you will get either an official warning or an official query as regards it. So John, hope I answered your question. The KD microservice owner will inform you what day and what time slot you will be presenting your KD.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Does anyone else have any question before I go drill down a bit more into? All right, I assume no question, but just to make sure that we are all listening, please unmute and say no question. It gives me a feedback that we can hear me.
No question.
No question.
No question.
Anyway, yeah, I expect everybody on the call to do so.
No question. No question.
No question.
No question.
No question.
All right, some people haven't spoken, but I think I heard enough people for me to move on. All right, so this is our weekly schedule for everybody within the team, every techie within the team, especially interns and trainees, regardless of what trainee level you are, especially. But really, this schedule is for everybody in the team. Mondays and every day of the week, between 8 to 9 o'clock, we expect you to be doing your personal development. There's a process for the personal development, which is beyond the scope of my presentation today. 9 a.m. is typically KD, with the exception of Mondays, where we do morning devotion. Bincom is founded on Christian-based principles and prides itself as a kingdom investment. It is not compulsory for non-Christians, and there are some Christian sects that don't join morning devotion, for example. So it is not compulsory, but we do encourage everyone to join in on KD. Also at 9 a.m. is the latest time you have to submit your weekly report for the last week. That's the latest time we expect you to have submitted that. And so the organization has created a bit of time, 30 minutes for you to do that, should you not have done that when you were supposed to. Typically, we have team stand-up around 10 a.m. Some teams do it a little at a different time based on whether or not they have a class that they are running and so on. But typically around 10 a.m. would be the team stand-up for the day. We always have 2 stand-ups, and the team leads are responsible to ensure the stand-ups happen. They can delegate it, right? But they need to ensure that the stand-up happens, right? With the exception of Wednesdays, where we have a time slot, 1 hour for something called weekly drill and knowledge exchange. Weekly drill is to help developers specifically, because when you start doing interviews, if you haven't already, one of the things you will be required to do will be some algorithm tests and so on. And so we expect you to have done at least 1 drill per week, and there's someone in charge of that. Knowledge exchange is also done. Knowledge exchange is a way for us to do public artifacts. And for now, we've joined those 2 activities together for the hour. However, should you not be able to meet your target for that hour, you are required to continue it at the latest later in the day, after work hours, or Saturday, depending on what the rest of your schedule is. And let me mention that this that I'm presenting is for people on our regular shift. For people with not on the regular shift, you have a similar schedule. However, you would have to work with pro services to ensure that everything on this calendar is covered. So please bear that in mind in case you are watching this video and you are not on the regular schedule. Everything in this you must still cover, just that you may not have to cover it on the time scheduled here. On Fridays, for that time slot, we expect you to submit your documentation. Documentation is one of the 4 key things that we do within the Beamcom Dev Center. And so should you not have submitted your documentation while you did the task, which is what is required and recommended, you have been given a 1-hour slot for you to do so. Task delivery happens between 10 to about 4 o'clock every day, and everybody has tasks that they have to deliver. For some people, your task is actually your attendance of a Beamcom academic class or the other, but for everybody, you have tasks that you have to deliver, and you are supposed to focus on getting those tasks done. We have in 1 hour for open source community on Wednesday as well, right after the knowledge exchange. And that has been scheduled as well in this calendar. On 2 p.m., there's team lead meeting on Tuesdays. Bear that in mind for team leads. At 4 p.m. on Mondays, there's something we call the team-driven marketing out this week. I suspect it didn't happen yesterday, and so I'm sure that they are going to make sure it happens before the week runs out. But the typical time for it is 4 p.m. every week, every Monday. And what we try to do is to push out the same product across board, because it's like a thunderclap. If everybody claps at the same time, you sort of hear the noise more than if someone claps here, then someone else claps, then someone else claps. So that's the reason why we try to do it at the same time or on the same day, so people are seeing what it is we are pushing out together. Also 4 p.m. on Fridays is now the project assistant retraining session, and this is compulsory for every project assistant. It's managed by all our project managers, and it's an opportunity for our project managers to teach project assistants. Also for project assistants to be able to locate the different activities and tasks that they do within the project management, product management, and service management frameworks. After hours on Fridays is the Emigrate Premium. It's optional for team members, except for Global Tech, which it is compulsory for. And then around 5 p.m. is also the daily stand-up for the second stand-up for the day for each team. And those stand-ups are compulsory as well. These are some of the things you would have to do often. This, in case you are seeing this document for the first time, there's a problem there. It means you either didn't go through orientation or you didn't look at Slack when you were supposed to, but it's available to you to study. These are some of the things you have to do on a weekly basis and quarterly basis in some cases. One of them is that your team will run a community event at the minimum once every quarter. There's already a schedule for that. Your team lead is likely aware already, and your team lead will communicate to your team what your event is, when the event is, and everyone in the team is required to help out in ensuring that the event is a success. Just to mention again, these are some of the things that we do on a daily basis, and this cuts across everyone within the Beacom Dev Center. We have daily check-in at 8 a.m. regardless, and this is for the regular shift. For irregular shift people, your check-in will be based on when you are supposed to check in. Daily check-in at 8 a.m. And there's the channel for that. You have your morning stand-up depending on when your team has scheduled the morning stand-up for. You are to be always online. You cannot say that, oh, I wasn't online at a certain time. If a message is sent to you, you need to reply within 1 hour. And the actual always online is that you should be available on a channel where people can jump in and speak with you if they need to speak with you. This is whether or not you are in a physical location of Beacom Dev Center at any point in time. We've not been doing it, but we are coming back to start doing it again. And those that refuse to still do it will no longer get always online budget for those that get the always online budget. Evening stand-up is I've also mentioned that. And then at the end of each day, you need to submit a daily report. And the daily report helps to us to understand what it is that you did that day. Your weekly report, which I mentioned earlier, is literally a compilation of your daily report as well. But Pro Services are monitoring daily reports because that's how we know what you've been doing as well. Remember, for those of you attending, whether it's a regular Beacom academic class or an internal Beacom academic class, many of those are starting next week. Your daily report should include the class you attended and what you did in terms of the assignments and so on. This is part of your daily task and it's part of what should be reported. And for almost everybody on the team, you are required to attend our physical location. For some people, you are required to attend every day of the week, right? For us, it's not you being at work anymore. It's just where you are physically, right? But it is required for some people, for location-based teams, you have to attend every day because that's part of your role anyway. For some team members, you are allowed to only attend once a week, right? And your Pro Services will discuss with you. And for some, maybe twice a week, 3 times a week, depending on your team lead, depending on management, depending on what the exception has been given. But at the very minimum, you are required to attend a physical location once a month at the very minimum. And that's for people that are not close enough to any of our physical locations or any of the locations where we are opening a physical location. For those that don't know, part of our strategic plan this year and that we are working on at the moment is to actually have a location in 30, to have 30 locations before the end of this quarter or before the end of this half of the year anyway. So yeah, this is the calendar. The last thing I'll just mention is that for everybody within the Beacom Dev Center, there are a couple of things that you are required to always do. Personal development is one of them. There are 4 of them. Personal development. Task delivery is what gives you your seat within the Beacom Dev Center. You will participate in different microservices, one of them being knowledge development that we are doing at the moment. You will also manage some microservices specifically for, you will manage some microservices within Beacom Dev Center. That's the 3rd one. And then documentation and reporting is also critical. If you are not doing any of those 4 things, you are not doing well, as far as we are concerned. So you cannot say, oh, I'm delivering my tasks exceptionally, but I'm not reporting. As far as we are concerned, and specifically Pro Services, you are actually not doing well. So please bear that in mind in terms of the different things that is required of you. Yeah, so that's to do with the calendar. Does anyone have any questions? And you can also unmute to say no questions, so I know that we are all listening. Farouk, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. So you're ready for yours, Abi?
Yes, sir. Please, Ijama, please, are you with my slide now?
Yes, I'm with you. Can I start sharing?
Give me a moment.
No, not really. Okay, ma'am.
Just give me a moment. I will just be done now, and then you start sharing. All right. So for what I've said so far, does anyone have any questions?
Yes, sir, I do have a question, and it's about the physical attendance that you mentioned.
Yeah.
I didn't actually get all of it because you were breaking up. So, please, can you rephrase or
okay?
Can you talk on it again?
No problem.
Sorry. Thank you, sir.
All right, then. It's written here, so you can just get on this document and just read what is written on this document about it. But briefly, it's that everyone within the team is required to attend our physical location. For some people, you are to attend the physical location on a daily basis. For some people, you are allowed to attend twice a week, 3 times a week, or even once a week. This is all determined by pro services, right? And for some people, you are allowed to attend just once a month, depending on where you are physically located and depending on, your discussion with pro services team as well. Pro services also has the right to rescind your ability to work from home. If you are not following their protocol, their processes, and all of that, they are allowed to say you are no longer able to work from home. Instead, you must work from the office. What everyone needs to understand is that we no longer see you being in the office as you coming to work, right? For some people, you are required to be there because your task requires you to be there. Like a location-based project assistant in Ibadan is required to be in that location because part of your task requires you to be there. But as an organization, we no longer see the fact that you are in the location office as you being at work. You're at work when you are able to do all the things that I've mentioned here, specifically most of them being virtual. But yeah, it's written on this document, so you can take a look at it later. All right, so thank you. Let me just make sure, is there any other questions? I'll take one more. 5 minutes beyond my time. Okay, you can unmute to say no questions as well.
No questions.
I'm expecting everybody to do the same. Thank you.
No question.
No question.
No question.
No questions.
No question.
No question.
No questions.
No questions.
No question.
No question.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I will just do one more thing. I will drop this on, I was going to go through this during my time, but I've run out of time anyway. But I'll drop this link on the random group on Slack. And it's about time management because we understand that there are several things that you need to do. But please bear in mind that it's for your own good. You are building capacity, you are building muscle, you are building your ability to do many other things over time. But yeah, please take a look at the link. It talks about some things on time management and so on. But please bear in mind as an organization, everything I've mentioned, you are required to do. And we've decided, and we've also said that should you not be able to do it, then on Saturday, you have to come to work to do those things. That's the reason why in your interview, you were told that you may have to work 2 Saturdays a month. That's actually the reason. It's not because we expect you to do so. There's ICT Career Talk every month, which is compulsory, and that's going to be Saturdays, every last Saturday of every month. With the exception of that, the only other reason you have to work weekends is because if you don't cover everything you are supposed to cover during the 40-hour week, we expect that you get it done over the weekend. So if you don't achieve 5 hours of personal development, get it done over the weekend. If you don't have your key sorted during the week, get it done over the weekend. That's what we expect. But what we hope you will do over a period of time is learn how to manage your time better, properly, such that you can get everything that you need to get done. Many of them is directly related to your next level within the IT career. That being said, thank you everybody for listening. Have a lovely day as well. Over to you, Farouk.